Welcome to the Solar Coaster, a renewable energy themed talk show right here in lovely Maui County. Aloha and welcome to the Solar Coaster live show here, RE Plus 2023, Las Vegas. This is awesome, man. I don't know how you doing, Jay.
I'm in super high energy, but it's really hard to move around. There's so many people here.
For those of you that don't know us, we are the Solar Coaster from Maui, Hawaii. We've been a radio show, an AM/FM radio show in Maui for about 5 years, from 2017 on. I myself was a solar installation company owner in Maui from like 2011-ish. I did Jay's house, actually, way back in the day. I think we did Solar Edge on your house, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
All right. And since then, we created the Solar Coaster, and we've been talking about all things clean tech, all crazy renewable energy stuff there in Maui.
Well, that was it. It started with like 15 shows. We were going to talk about a few things, like all the kitchen table stuff. That was your bright idea, is to bring it to everybody. We'll just do it once on the radio, and I played the customer side.
Yeah, that's right.
But then, there's always something new to talk about.
I remember it was 13 shows. We had a little bit of money and we went to try it, and then it turned into a couple hundred shows over the years.
And we have no money.
Yes, exactly. It's an expensive hobby. No, it's been wonderful being on the Solar Coaster, and we have an opportunity at this show to talk about kind of the culmination of that experience, which really is RE Plus Hawaii in January of this upcoming year, January 22nd and 23rd in Waikiki. That's at the Alohilani Resort. And by the way, I've got a little experience in the different resorts in Waikiki, and Alohilani Resort is top of the list. It's a great one. Yeah. It's right there by the Duke statue.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful location in Waikiki. And we're going to get a chance in that show. Hi, Aaron. Hey. We're going to get a chance in that show to be able to look at all of the amazing things that are happening in Hawaii from the RE Plus lens, which really is all of clean tech and all of the new energy economy is the type of language I love to use.
Yeah, and what I'm hoping for is that we'll bring a lot of new faces into the state. Hawaii has always been like the early adopter. We've got the early mandate, 2045. We're rolling out solar and renewables pretty much everywhere. But we need new, intelligent people doing interesting things with technology to really bring us that next step.
Absolutely. What's really exciting about Hawaii is that we have the country's first renewable energy mandate, right?
Yep.
And we have, if you're not familiar with how energy works in Hawaii, Hawaii is basically Big Island. I'm going to go east to west. Big Island, Maui, which is 3 islands. It's Lanai, Molokai. Kaho'olawe is actually a little tiny one that no one lives on presently. Over to Oahu, and then Kauai. And there's a little one on the side called Ni'ihau as well. And then there's the atolls and stuff all the way up into the Pacific, the northwest, the northwestern Hawaiian Islands. But in any case, the energy works like Hawaiian Electric really runs Big Island, Maui, and Oahu. And then KIUC, which is a cooperative, Kauai Island Utility Cooperative, is run by Dave Bissell's the president.
Yeah.
So energy in Hawaii, with that 100% renewable energy mandate, the country's first, this is where all of the innovation is happening. What's neat about Hawaii, and people may not necessarily think about this, because we have such expensive electricity, your projects, your technology, your innovation pencils. It pencils. Because imagine right now, I have a solar plus battery system that we're geeking out on all the time and doing really innovative and fun stuff. But when I pay to the utility, I pay, and I just run the straight bill versus kilowatt hour overage, it's about 43 cents a kilowatt hour. 43 cents kilowatt hour is no joke. That's got to be on the highest order of energy across the country, right?
It's definitely nationally, and I'm pretty sure top 10 in the world, right?
So when Span came up to me and said, hey, we should do something together with a load control panel, and I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because now I can put that in there and I can actually see load by load what's hogging energy at a given moment. And I can say, hey, what are you doing there? And I can turn that thing off on my app and save myself money, right?
Yep.
So that's an example of an innovation that makes loads of sense in Hawaii, right?
Yeah, and it's that education. I mean, people don't really understand where they're consuming their energy. We've had monitors for basic usage for a long time. They're never that accurate. Data's getting better and better. We're getting all these, that's my initial takeaway here, is that I walked these aisles and there are so many data companies here. Everybody's doing something with data, and it's going to play a pivotal role in how we move forward.
100%. And so I think that, we've got about 4 months until RE Plus Hawaii. And this show really, there's an opportunity to cover things in the residential space. There's an opportunity to cover things in the C&I commercial space. There's an opportunity to cover things in the utility space. For you utility guys out there, I'll give you an example of this, right? RFP phase 1, 2, and 3 over the course of the last 5-ish years. RFP phase 2, we thought we were inching up to like 80% coverage on Maui specifically, right?
Yep.
But in actuality, because of COVID, because of supply chain issues, because of rebidding issues, a lot of those projects fell away.
Yeah.
So I want to say like maybe like 60, 70% of them. That's just my guesstimate on this. So there's opportunity. There's opportunity to do amazing projects throughout Hawaii. RFP Phase 3 is bidding underway, but there's a lot of opportunity out there. Right now, we got some of the coolest things happening in the world. The thing we love to talk about is David Bissell of Kauai Island Utility Cooperative, for an example. Long-duration storage, doing the largest pump storage hydro long-duration storage system in the entire world right now. That's happening in the petri dish that is Hawaii energy.
Yeah, and it's this location where you can get everything you talked about, just the project penciling really easily. I mean, we have abundant solar, abundant wind, geography, geothermal, that support all these alternative energy structures. You can build this stuff and you can make it work financially.
So and that's on the utility side of things, right? And I will say that on this, I think that we'll end on the C&I side, really. And C&I is really just kind of like a lot of mostly hotel type stuff, microgrid type stuff. But on the resi side, for years, and I want to say maybe decade plus, I was primarily a resi installer at one point, and we were fighting constantly to get our interconnections constantly, right? And it's so interesting because once I think the solar battery revolution started to happen, once the revolution started to happen, then the utility and the kind of the way it was all organized, they started to change their tune. Then they said, hey, you know what? We need every roof. Yeah. We need your roof. It was no longer, please let us interconnect. It's, we need your roof. Can we borrow your roof?
Yeah. You saw that map. Okay, Oahu has 92% of the population of the entire state. We saw the map where there simply isn't enough geography to roll out all solar. We're going to need alternative technologies.
100%, yeah. It's crazy. Actually, when you think about, so that's the residential segment. And right now, I'm not sure I haven't been keeping up with the numbers as close as I did back in the day when I was, flipping solar constantly. Sure. But I'd say we're probably like somewhere around a third penetration with resi, something like that. We have, like, give you an example, like Maui is 65,000 utility account holders, right? So I think we're probably inching up to that. So there's plenty of room for growth there. And the cool thing about these clients in Maui, and I know them and throughout Hawaii, is that they're now kind of post-NEM. Their concept is squarely post-NEM. They're like, it's no longer, what's a solar panel? We know what solar panels are. Everybody's got it. It's saving us all money.
We're changing them out. Like they've aged out, their warranties are over, and we're repurposing them.
We're NEM plus. We're going in and saying, you're NEM, you're grandfathered in, now you're going to get solar and battery. Now and I was just talking to a good friend of mine, Doc Mills. He's got a cute little house up in Kula, up on the slopes of Haleakala. He was like NEM 10 or something, right? Like, forever ago. Yep. I think he got a legacy upgrade on the Enphase system, and he's got me helping him out. I don't understand all this stuff. And I said, you're going to get an M Plus system. You're going to do a legacy retrofit on those old M180s or whatever it was from Ragu and Martin, and the Enphase guys. And then you're going to be producing a lot of energy. You're going to be able to do your NEM with your interactive grid storage thing, and you're going to be able to have your battery as well. He's going to have 2 EVs. That is as standard operating procedures in Hawaii right now. 2 EVs, solar, battery. I'm starting to see load controls get penetration. I'm starting to see other really, exciting kind of like innovative tech. So we want to just make a call out to everybody and say, bring your ideas, bring your technology, bring your enthusiasm. He's got one, right? Yep. To Hawaii, because it'll pencil there. Another thing to think about, I'll give you a little a pro tip. I'll give you a pro tip about doing business in Hawaii. There's Hawaii Energy and the utility. They're looking for innovative technologies to fund, to provide grants or actual like subsidies for. When I ran the math on the SPAN panel, it was like there were 2 or 3 different subsidies, and I was like, so you're telling me this is more than free?
Essentially that.
It was crazy.
There are that many programs out there.
Yeah, it really surprised me. I don't think anyone had really done the full math yet because they were kind of so dynamic. They were coming out, right?
Sure.
And then, so that's the resi space boatloads of opportunity, the utility space boatloads of opportunity. When we think about C&I, let me tell you, that's an exciting place in Hawaii. C&I, and I don't know that you can really legitimately call it commercial industrial, because you don't have a boatloads of industrial, right?
Sure.
But you do have some. But really, you're talking about larger scale projects like for hotels and other types of institutions. That space is exciting, because that is where we're talking about, I want to say the second largest consumer of electricity, for example, in Maui, is the Grand Wailea.
Right.
And 10 years ago, those guys had $1 million a month bill, right? So now I can't even imagine what it is at the moment. And so the opportunities to be able to deploy technology, whether it could simply be storage that reduces demand charge, for example.
Sure.
Right?
But I mean, just energy rates have gone up 25% in that time share.
So there you go.
Think about it.
So we're talking about like a lot of opportunity, and that replicated across pretty much all of the resorts, all of the different institutions. They need to find ways to make that P&L work, and the best thing they can do is reduce the cost of electricity. So I think the C&I space is really interesting, and I think that I personally have spoken, even remember the conversations I was having with the large Japanese companies?
Oh, yes.
They've resurfaced at post-pandemic, because Japan's just kind of like slowly getting out of the pandemic, and they said, hey, I mean, this is the type of scale that's coming at Hawaii right now. We'd like to deploy $250 million of capital. We need to do it in year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you produce that many projects? That's the kind of stuff that's happening in the C&I space. I think we're going to see everything get microgridded over the space of the next few years.
Yes, please. That's all I can say about that. Really
so that covers a little bit of why I think it's relevant to come to Hawaii, from a business perspective. Now, let me say the obvious here. It's in Waikiki. It's in Hawaii. The whales are there. It's January.
Get out of the cold.
It's great. I mean, it's great. It's a lot of fun. Waikiki's a funny place. It's like we live in Maui, so Waikiki's a 30-minute ride for us on an airplane. But when you're in Waikiki, you actually get a little bit jazzed. It's kind of a little bit of the big city taste.
Yeah, you go to the city, exactly that.
And it'll be so fun, and I'm so excited to see what kind of companies come to kind of plant down their technology and their ideas and their talent.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing to see, because these folks, they're going to be a little new to the environment, but I think they're going to be shocked. Like, just when you get there and you can see how much available energy there is, talking sun, wind, and then the demand.
Yeah.
The demand, you're going to be accosted.
So we were going to have Gary and Steven from Setson, CEO and CMO, today, but they couldn't make it. So we may be able to do that on Thursday. We'll see how that pans out.
Sure.
But we can provide some more insights into Hawaii in general. One of the things that I think is really interesting, hey guys, come on over. One of the things that I think is really interesting about, for example, Oahu. Oahu, DBED, I forget what that acronym stands for, but it's like maybe like an academic or an NGO or some government group. They did an analysis of all of the roof space and all of the land space in Oahu versus their current load and their projected load over time, and they said we don't have enough space.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. And the issue is, I mean, electrification of transportation is playing a big role in this. We're asking more and more of our grids, which are having issues already. They're going to have to find other ways of generation, or the generation is going to have to be much more efficient.
Right.
And I don't think we can get there with existing technology, which is the reason why I'm asking for new and interesting tech.
So on Oahu, if we do it on island by island, that'd give us, they can kind of fill the time with that, and it'd be insightful stuff, useful stuff, I think.
Sure.
If we think of Oahu, there's a reasonable wind play in Oahu right now.
Yeah.
Offshore wind is a discussion that's not crazy. It's not going to be fast, but I think that, and I've talked to a handful of local wind groups.
Yep.
That are actually there on Oahu that are saying we're going to take a shot at this. But wind is a conversation that I think is going to be interesting for Oahu. If we were to look at Big Island, just hopping back over east, Big Island is big.
And they're
Hawaii.
way far ahead, because they have the active volcano, they have the geothermal power plant. They're with that alone, it's like 35%?
26.
26, that's all?
26% of their firm.
Their energy demand is growing.
Yeah, 26% of their firm is Puna Geothermal.
Yep.
And and they're doing great too in terms of a lot of the there's the macadamia nut plantation and factory there. That's all going microgridded, and Parker Ranch and a couple of these are all making really cool innovation steps. But I think that by the way, I don't know if you saw, but Kilauea just started erupting again yesterday. And that was erupting like a couple months ago. I went there with my mother and we took a bunch of video. It was beautiful. But Kilauea literally just started erupting. Okay, we're rolling out. How much time do we have?
0.
0? Okay, well, we could wax poetic about Hawaii all day long, about all the cool things. But wrapping things up, RE Plus Hawaii is January 22nd, 23rd, the Alohilani Resort in Waikiki, and we would love to see everybody join us.
There's no better place to be. There's no better place to deploy your technology. Make it happen.
There it is. All right, aloha, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening to us. We're the Solar Coaster. We hope to see you soon.
Very much appreciate it.